Ben Carson recently had an interview with Marketplace, and during the interview, he was asked what he plans on doing about the debt ceiling. Would he raise the debt ceiling to prevent the United States from defaulting on its debts? Well, it doesn't seem like Ben Carson really knows. Take a look.
All right, so let's talk about debt then and the budget. As you know, Treasury Secretary Lew has come out in the last couple of days and said, we're going to run out of money. We're going to run out of borrowing authority on the 5th of November. Should the Congress then and the president not raise the debt limit? Should we default on our debt?
Let me put it this way. If I were the president, I would not sign an increased budget. Absolutely would not do it. They would have to find a place to cut.
To be clear, it's increasing the debt limit, not the budget. But I want to make sure I understand you. You'd let the United States default rather than raise the debt limit.
No, I would provide kind of leadership that says, get on the stick, guys, and stop messing around and cut where you need to cut, because we're not raising any spending limits, period.
This is debt that's already obligated. Would you not favor increasing the debt limit to pay the debts already incurred?
What I'm saying is what we have to do is restructure the way that we create debt.
Okay, that was actually both incredibly painful and awkward and hilarious at the same time. So, first of all, he has, as Ben said on a recent episode of Old School, he has the cadence of a guy who is intelligent, right?
He has the cadence of a guy who just woke up from a 72-hour nap.
Right. No, but a lot of professors also talk that way. Like, and let me tell you something. I'm going to be very calm now. So you're going to mistake my calmness for intelligence. But it really isn't. Because I'm going to say things like, we need to get on the stick. What does that mean, we need to get on the stick? Okay. Oh, that's what President Obama forgot to do. He forgot to tell Congress to get on the stick. If he had just done that, the whole thing would have been fine. So now let's get to the heart of the issue. He doesn't know what the debt ceiling is. He doesn't know it. So I'm always amazed that people running for president who are going to be, want the job of commander-in-chief, most powerful person on the planet, whether we like it or not, okay, have to run our entire economy in as much as the president does and conduct foreign policy. Didn't bother to learn the issues. That I know more than they do. I always think like, that can't be. I'm probably getting something that can't be, right? No, but it is. Mm-hmm. He has no idea what the debt ceiling is. Right. Now, look, if you don't know what the debt ceiling is, that's not your job. You're not running for president, right? But the guy's running for president. Debt ceiling is, we have spent X amount of money, let's say $7 trillion, right? We already spent it. It's already gone. And people lent us that money, some of that money, mm-hmm. and now we owe it, right? So now, but if it's debt, it's the whole $7 trillion is what we owe. We spent a lot more, but we had extra revenue. Okay, so we owe the $7 trillion. Now the question is, are you going to pay that or not? Not, hey, what are you going to do with the budget next year so that we don't owe people anymore?
Yeah,
right?
The debt ceiling has nothing to do with authorizing more spending at all. That's a completely different matter. They're somewhat tied, but that's not what he was being asked about at all.
So they're tied to future debt ceilings. So, for example, if Ben Carson said, hey, let's get on the stick here, and next year make sure we don't have any deficit at all, which, of course, the Republicans would never do, because the last Republican president to balance the budget as he left office was Eisenhower. Eisenhower. They never balanced the budget. They never balanced it. And Carson wouldn't balance it because he'd give giant tax cuts to the rich and go, oh, oops, I ran out of money. Oh, and right, I started 2 wars. My bad. Okay, now, even if you were to do that, it does not affect the debt ceiling because that is debt we already have. So are you going to pay your creditors, or are you going to pull a Trump and go, hey, man, I just made a smart business move, and I bankrupted the country. I didn't pay our debts. I went into bankruptcy, and we're now a third world country.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question, Ben Carson. And by the way, give credit to the host. He tried to explain it to him like he was a child. He went in 3 times, and he's like, okay, all right, sir, sir, please. Okay, this is not money we are spending today. It is money we have already spent. And he's like, oh, stick. Dude, come on, man. I don't know how you're a neurosurgeon. And now the biggest downside of Ben Carson's presidential run is the damage he has done to the reputations of neurosurgeons throughout the world.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's a neurosurgeon, just like how Herman Cain worked for the Restaurant Association, right? Just because you have a great credible job doesn't mean that you have the qualifications necessary to be president of the United States. Do you guys remember how much of a fool Herman Cain was, especially when it came to the issue of Libya? Let's give you an example.
So you agreed with President Obama on Libya or not?
Okay, Libya. President Obama supported the uprising, correct? President Obama called for the removal of Gaddafi. Just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing before I say, yes, I agreed, I know I didn't agree.
Now, it's hard to beat that. It's one of my favorites. No, wait. We're talking about Libya, right? I love the way you move the one. No, we're talking about Libya, right? Okay, so look, here's the thing. You got these so-called non-politicians that are running that are very popular. I know why they're popular. Because everybody's sick of politicians. I'm right there with you, brother, right? Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, right? But you have to know what the hell they're talking about. So, but now at least Trump is more brazen and handles it better, even though he actually knows less than Herman Cain did or Ben Carson does. He's foreign policy. He's like, I'm going to learn that when I become president. Head exploding, right? But he says it. He says, oh, man, I will, once I get into office, I'll be so good at foreign policy, it'll make your head spin, right? Like, they're like, yeah, so, but the specifics. He's like, no, of course I'm not going to answer the specifics. I don't know them.
I don't know.
I'm going to learn them when I get in office. Amazing, right? Amazing. Can you imagine if you're running, you're going to a job application to be an accountant? You're like, once you hire me as your accountant, I will learn accounting so good, it'll make your head spin. Okay, ridiculous under any circumstance. But in this case, the Herman Cain and the Ben Carson, why is it that they're so out of their league yet so popular with Republicans? It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure it out, okay? What it is a successful black man who will tell the white Republican base exactly what they want to hear about black people, okay? You guys are right. It's their culture. It's their problem. They're lazy. And it's okay. I'm black, so I can say it, right?
Yeah.
And then, oh, they eat that up. They're like, tapioca pudding. Give it to me. Give it to me. You're the pizza dude. You're the brain dude. I don't care. You don't know a goddamn thing about anything. The debt ceiling, Libya. I don't care. Tell me again about how black people are wrong. That's the soul food that the Republican base wants.